I'm Felicia.
I'm Ian.
And we are the Paranormal Lovers. Hey guys.
Hey guys.
Welcome back to another week of Paranormal Lovers. We're so excited to have you guys back with us today. We appreciate all the new follows and listens this week. It's been pretty awesome seeing everybody enjoying our content.
Thanks, guys.
Today, we told you guys about it last week. Today, we have a special Ian-centric episode.
Yep. I'm going to read you a story.
Yep. So, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you, Bill.
Hey, guys. Welcome to the 4th episode. This week, we got a good one for you. We're going to be talking about the legend of the Brown Mountain Lights. Now, the Brown Mountain Lights are a phenomenon that occurs in the Linville Gorge in between Morganton and Linville in western North Carolina. They are described as very bright, glowing balls of light, some in a bluish color, some are reddish. They appear at nighttime, mostly in the fall seasons. They usually appear in the ridge top of the Table Mountain and wind and stink their way through the woods down below. They have also been seen going back up as well. Some lights have been seen floating above the treetops and have also been seen going back as well. Local legends told about the lights, and there have been many investigations done on the lights, and many of the local legends told about the lights. You can also observe these lights from 3 overlooks in the Blue Ridge Parkway here in the Appalachians. One is Wiseman's View in the Linville Gorge. Another is the Brown Mountain Overlook at the Appalachians. Another one is the Green Mountain Overlook on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Many people have reported seeing these lights, but they remain a mystery and have never been truly explained till this day.
Ooh, spooky lights.
Now, they have rich history in these parts. The first report of seeing the lights came from a camper named Josiah Wiseman. He claimed...
Is he the one that Wiseman Overlook's named after?
Yeah, he's the one that's the Overlook's named after.
Cool.
And he claimed to be seeing glowing spheres while camping at the place. One of the reports of people seeing the lights was named Joseph Lovin. And
McLovin.
Yeah, he owned a hotel in the Linville Gorge in 1897 named the Lovin's Hotel.
Sorry. The Lovin's Hotel.
No, he really didn't take any interest in seeing the lights until one of his neighbors started seeing them as well. And it also coincided with, the electrification of the Linville Gorge.
Yeah.
Because it was around 1890 to 1910. Also, the Southern Railway upgraded their lights on their train around 1909.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I think the Southern Railway did come through Balsam as well.
Yeah.
Kind of go back to that first episode, so I bet it went right through to Linville.
Yeah, it's the same line that goes, to the mill and to through Asheville and.
I gotcha.
But so yeah, I could see how people were surprised about the lights.
Yeah, especially considering, we still using candles, and we're just now getting electricity, that. What is that?
Now, so people started noticing the lights, and they wondered what it was, whether it was train or, cars or electrification or whatever. So they ordered a geological survey. The first one was done by D.B. Sterrett, who found that the lights were simply the train coming through. a few years later, George R. Mansfield did another geological survey, and he brought up a telescope at nighttime and started looking and found that it was the same thing. It was either cars, brush fires, or train lights. In 1938, the lights were claimed to be Native American lore.
Of course.
According to the Asheville Citizen newspaper.
Of course. Because, it was the Indian people that did all that shit.
And then another ghost story was written about a woman and a child that was murdered in
Jesus.
The Jonas Ridge community, which is near there. And it was the first published story of the lights in 1936. In the middle of the century, people started claiming that it was UFOs, though.
I mean, we've seen pictures of it, and
right.
I'm on the fence, but
if you guys get a chance, look at look at some of the pictures too of
some
these
videos some pictures on Wednesday when this comes out. I'll post some photos on Instagram so you guys can have a looky-loo.
Ralph Lale self-published a book detailing an extraterrestrial encounter of the Brown Mountain Lights. And then a local story from a man in Morganton said that him and 6 other people seen the lights in 1982. And he even described touching one of the lights and said it felt like his finger got stuck in a light socket.
That he touched it?
He touched a light.
I've never heard of anybody touching it before. I didn't know that you could get close enough to touch them.
And there was like 6 people with him, so
they saw it.
They all saw it. They all say he touched one of the lights.
That's weird.
Yep.
Was it moving?
I mean, yeah, I guess.
That's wild.
And then Appalachian State University did a study with 2 low light cameras, and they didn't catch any of the lights in 2014. And they had like thousands of hours of footage.
They didn't catch any?
Nothing.
That's wild. It's like the lights didn't want them to see them.
And then I even went there. I went there around 2005 with Chris with my buddy C and some of his friends, and we didn't see anything up there. It was a cool place to be up there, though. Like, yeah, spooky.
I've never been there. Like, I've definitely heard the lore of it, but
there's been books, songs, TV shows, all kinds of stuff about the Brown Mountain Lights. One of the first was a Jules Verne novel in 1906. Now get this. The title of it was Master of the World. And the plot was about a mad scientist that would cause strange lights in and above Tabletop Mountain.
No shit. That's cool.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm skimming through my notes.
No, you're good. Like, it really makes you think of like how cool of a place we live in, though, to think that Jules Verne kind of...
Yeah, he said there was an airship inside his secret lair inside Tabletop Mountain that he was building that would cause strange lights in and about the mountain.
I mean, you know what? Weirder things have happened.
Right. Now, great nephew of the Wiseman's View guy, Scotty Wiseman, he wrote a song called "The Legend of the Brown Mountain Lights" in 1961, and it's a famous country song, I guess. I've never really listened to it, but I'm not a big country fan.
You're like, it's there.
It's there if people want to listen to it. In 1999, The X-Files made an episode about the Brown Mountain Lights. It's called Field Trip.
We need to go find that episode.
I remember watching it. It was about a couple of hikers.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was also mentioned in the show Weird or What and Ancient Aliens.
Aliens.
Yeah.
That guy, that's how I feel every morning. Aliens.
Now, there's many things that could cause the lights. If you go up there, you'll see everything from cars to hikers to even more rare like foxfire or ball lightning.
Yeah. Wait, what is foxfire?
Foxfire is a fungus that it's bioluminescent, and so it glows in the nighttime.
I didn't know we had bioluminescent fungus out
here. It's more down south than it is here.
Yeah.
It'll be very rare to see it here, so I don't...
See, isn't this technically the area where the Brown Mountain is? Isn't it kind of going towards, like, the foothills of North Carolina?
Yeah, kind of. It's where the mountains meet the foothills.
So it's kind of coming down, like, past Black Mountain.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's right there in that area.
Sorry about this chair.
Other explanations of the lights are of the more paranormal variety. Some say they're ghosts or will-o-wisps. Some say they're fairies of the woods or UFOs.
The fae.
But here are some of the passed down stories locals tell each other about the lights. Whoa, that's a zoom button.
I would love for it to be fairies, because, like, the fae, people don't realize how prominent the fae are up here. Like, this is a wonderful place for them.
I think it's either a will-o-wisp or a fairy myself, but nobody knows.
Let's see what these stories are about.
Okay, the first one I put down was, I got most of these from a guy on YouTube. His name is Wendigoon. And he actually came to the area and interviewed a bunch of people, and they all told him, the passed down stories of all these tales. The
oral legends of the Appalachians and the Brown Mountain Lights.
So I watched his video, and it's a good video if y'all want to check it out. It's Wendigoon at YouTube, and just check out his Brown Mountain Light video. It's good. Okay, so the first one is the Revolutionary War soldier. There was once a colonial family that moved into the Linville Gorge area. The father, having beliefs that he did, one day left to go fight in the Revolutionary War. After fighting a while and putting in his time, he returned home to find his family was gone. The cabin that he lived in was buried, and his family's remains were scattered about. After a time of grieving and passing of time, he found that not all of the remains were there. One of his kids' bodies was absent. Now it could have been hauled off by a bear or other animal.
Yeah.
But knowing there was still a chance that one of his kids was still alive, he loaded up his oil lantern and set out looking for his missing child in the dead of night. Some say you look and listen real close while in or around the gorge. You can hear and see him calling out to his missing child.
Nah, it's so sad.
Now, this one really isn't a story, but it's kind of the legend of the will-o-wisp. Some claim these lights are will-o-wisp. Will-o-wisp are lights seen in or around the woods. They are blue or red, and sometimes had a shadowy figure holding them. Legend has it that Will was a blacksmith who was a troublemaker. So when he died, St. Peter brought him back to reform his life. His second life was even worse than the first. So St. Peter cursed him to roam the earth forever. Well, when Satan heard, he was impressed on how much trouble Will had caused. So he gave Will a coal to warm himself on cold nights. But Will decided to use the coal to make a torch to lure innocent travelers into danger.
Well, Will's a dick.
And that's supposedly the mythology of the will-o-wisp.
I mean,
according to the internet.
Satan come and give you a coal to keep yourself warm, and you're like, "Nah, I want to murder people."
He's like, "I'm gonna lead people off into the woods."
Satan trying to be nice. You're over here giving him a bad rap.
Okay, here's another story that they've told that's real popular, I guess, in the area. It's also one of the oldest stories. It comes from the 1840s, before the Civil War. And it's the story of Henry and Jim. Henry had a family and was a good man. One day, Henry bought a slave by the name of Jim. Not long after Henry, being the honorable good man he was, decided to give Jim his freedom. Jim, not having any family of his own, decided to stay and help Henry and his family. One hard winter hit in the mountains, and their food supply started running low. So Henry decided one December day to set out on a hunt for a bear. He told Jim and his family that he would be back in 4 days. Well, 4 days came and went, and no Henry. Well, Jim feared the worst had happened to his friend, so he decided to go looking for him. Knowing Henry took a week supply of oil, knowing Henry took a week supply of oil for his lantern, he set off on foot with a lantern of his own, looking for Henry. Well, 4 days passed, and Jim never returned either.
Jeez.
They say you can still hear Jim and Henry calling out, trying to find each other.
That's wild.
Yep.
I do appreciate Henry giving Jim his freedom, though.
Right.
That was the right thing to do.
Right.
I hope a bear didn't eat him. Or a coyote. Or a mountain lion. I don't care what people say.
Right.
They hear.
Yep, there's lots of them in the woods.
Just going off to find somebody and then just never coming back.
Yeah.
How much that must have sucked for Henry's family.
You have to have both of them gone?
Yeah, both your dad and, like, the guy that stayed to help your family out.
During the hardest of a winter, too.
Oh, in the winter? In the foothills? Yep. Like, in the...
His family probably died, too.
You said that was, what, like the 1600s?
1840s.
1840s? Still, the 1800s of it all.
Right. And if you think about it, the timeline, people started seeing the lights around, the same time.
Yeah.
So...
That's interesting.
Another story from the 1840s, and this one's pretty good. I like this one, is the story of Lady Adeline. Now, Lady Adeline and her husband moved into the area of western North Carolina around 1840. Lady Adeline was a kind and caring woman. She was well known among her community to be a very good, generous lady. Now, Lady Adeline's husband was a completely different person. He was a mean and jealous drunk with a short temper. The town always feared that something would eventually happen to Lady Adeline. And then one Sunday morning, Lady Adeline never showed up to church.
Oh, no.
Wondering what happened, her friends in the community went to check on her at her house. They found that Lady Adeline wasn't home, but her husband was. And her husband told them that Lady Adeline decided to up and leave them in the middle of the night. The next day, a stranger came into town and stayed one night at the local inn. The next day, he was seen leaving with Lady Adeline's husband's horse. When the townspeople questioned Adeline's husband, he said that he had simply sold the stranger a horse. A couple of days passed, and the townfolk put together a search party to go out to the gorge to look for Lady Adeline. Well, when they did, the lights appeared. The townsfolk were terrified and ran screaming and fright out of the woods. They insisted that the lights were the work of Satan, conjured by Adeline's husband. So an angry mob went to her house with pitchforks and guns and knives, looking for her husband, just to find that he was nowhere to be found. And in the distance, they could see one of the lights snaking its way up through the gorge and back up the mountain and over the ridge to disappear. Till this day, men still disappear while hiking through the woods of the Linville Gorge. Years later, they found the headless body of Lady Adeline at the bottom of the cliffs of Wiseman's View.
Wait, is that one a real story or is that one just lore? Because I'm like,
I think it's just lore, but
what Lady Adeline's husband was an asshole.
but they might have found some bodies and made that
I'm
up
sure
about
they
it.
Found bodies because it's a gorge, but it's possible, I guess. So they think the light was like him going over the mountain.
Yeah, they think the light came and got him, and took him off into the woods.
Oh, the devil light that he caused came and got him.
It's said to be her ghost, wandering the gorge looking for the heads of men that mean harm to women. And be careful, she might not have a good eyesight either.
Yeah. So, what was it? Morbid, I think, just did an episode about banshees.
Right.
No, it was, and that's why we drink. M did an episode about banshees, and they like to kill men who are assholes.
Right. I mean, I could see that.
Yay for Lady Adeline.
Right. Now, there's a similar story at the Jonas Ridge story that I mentioned earlier. Mm-hmm. And it's it's in that area, but it's like the third overlook that I mentioned.
Yeah. Because
there's 3 different overlooks that you can see the lights from, and they're all kind of in different areas.
Yeah.
So this is the Jonas Ridge story. In 1930, there was a husband similar to Adeline's. He was a hateful old drunk, especially to his young wife, Belinda, who had given birth to their baby child.
Oh, no.
One night, in a drunken rage, he claimed that the child wasn't his. He either killed them and dumped their bodies into the gorge, or chased them out into the gorge and let them die naturally.
Jesus.
Eventually, a search crew was put together to go look for Belinda and her child, to no avail. They could not find any traces of the two until one night. Late at night, the lights appeared above the remaining search party. Baffled, they followed the lights through the woods to find the remains of lost Belinda and her child.
The story of drunken men.
Seems to be a theme in the mountains, huh?
I tell you what, and it's a theme that hasn't went away very well either.
Right.
It has aged and terribly. It just still happens.
Now, there's one more story, and this one you'll like, and I like it too, just because it tells kind of a different tale of the whole thing. It's the Catawba woman and the Cherokee man. Now, hundreds of years ago, before white settlers came to America, indigenous people inhabited these lands. The Cherokee and the Catawba were at war with each other. During the war, the Linville Gorge was highly contested land, and one tribe on one side and the other tribe to the next mountain over, with the gorge being separated by both and kind of middle ground.
Yeah.
Despite the differences in the tribes, there was a Catawba woman that had fallen completely in love with a Cherokee man. At night, they would slip down into the gorge and spend intimate time together as lovers. Then in the morning, they would return back up to the mountains, to their people, before anyone knew they were gone. Their love was a secret because it would mean death to either if caught. One night, the Cherokee man told his love, after many nights together, that he could not come down to the gorge anymore, that he had to go fight in the war. The Catawba woman decided to make the best of it and built a small house at the top of what's known today as Wiseman's View. Every night, she would light a torch in the window of her house so that the Cherokee man could look out over the mountain and see that she still loved him. Some nights, the Cherokee man would sneak out of his war camp to the top of the ridge and light a torch of his own to let her know he was still alive and still loved her. Till one night, his torch never lit again. Seems like he either got sick or died in a battle. But the Catawba woman had made him a promise to her love So she lit her torch every night until she grew old. Some say, if you're lovers and go up to Brown Mountain, then you will still be able to see the lights that a love that still lives on.
That's just really sad.
It is sad.
Although I was kind of expecting it to go like a Romeo and Juliet route. Like the first indigenous Romeo and Juliet, but
right.
It is really sad. Like,
So that's the story of the Brown Mountain Lights. They've been passed down for years, and they're still a mystery. Like, nobody knows what the Brown Mountain Lights are.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, because we watched that video. You showed me some clips of that video and some of the pictures.
Yeah, there's been multiple pictures and videos and people catching them.
Just the way it looks, like, and the way it shines. I could almost see ball lightning be a thing.
Right.
Like, I feel like there has to be some kind of static. Maybe there's a certain mineral or something in that particular mountain. The witchy side of my heart really wants it to be fae.
Right.
You know? Because fairies, why not? At this point, if I find a fairy circle out in the woods, I'm not running away. I'm taking a vacation.
I always kind of wanted it to be UFOs, but...
Yeah, I can kind of... UFOs makes a lot of sense, too, but the one with the guy, when he touched it...
Right.
That's still
got, like, shocked.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
But even, like, supernatural energy can, like, bring the hair up on your arms and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, it definitely can. Because a lot of times with paranormal stuff, when you're using certain equipment on investigations and stuff, it's reading off of electromagnetic fields anyways, which our Earth has in abundance. And so, like, is this another type of magnetic field that's causing electricity to go wonky? Like, you know how, like, there's some places where you can park and it has, like the opposite gravity?
Right.
You know what I'm talking about? Like Mystery Mountain and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me wonder if there's not something electrical going on up there.
Yeah, I don't know.
With the atmosphere.
Well, let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, for sure. Let us know what you guys think.
If you have any Brown Mountain stories, send them to us.
Oh, yes. Brown Mountain stories would be awesome. Any stories around here, but that's... Definitely tell us what you guys think and hit us up on Instagram and let us know what you think, because I don't know.
I don't know either.
I might spiral on this. My ADHD hyperfocus may just take that and be like, we're going to go find out what the Brown Mountain Lights are, because I'm confused.
I want to go up to Wiseman's View, because the first time I went up there, it was at the Brown Mountain Overlook, and it was a different view than Wiseman's View.
Yeah.
There's supposed to be more sightings at Wiseman's, but
you gotta go up in there in the dark.
You do.
I don't like being out in the mountains in the dark.
I know, it can be spooky.
It is spooky, especially after, like, our experiences with bears and stuff.
The Wendigoon guy on YouTube, he went up there by himself, alone, like...
No, I would not. I mean, no. And I feel like that's close to where, like, Nobby lives.
Right.
Squatch from episode 1. He lives down there towards the foothills. No. I don't know. I'll think about it.
You gotta go in the fall, too, so it's like, you gotta find a day that's, I don't know, good weather.
Who knows? Maybe we'll go up there around my birthday or something. Check it out if we can get...
It's gotta be kind of clear so you can see
free night.
Far, you know?
Yeah. It's still a couple hours away, so we'll have to plan it out, but...
Right.
That definitely sounds cool, and I recommend anybody that comes up here to this area, go check it out. Like...
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's wonderful hiking up here. If you've never been able to hike on the Blue Ridge Parkway, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, the mountains here are gorgeous.
Like, if you were a hiker and you've never hiked a part of the Blue Ridge Parkway or some part of the Appalachian, I don't even know what you're doing. But it's amazing, and it's pretty cool. So, well, that's awesome. Next week, we're going to go tackle some more ghosts. And we're going to be in South America.
Nice.
So, where it's warm. Where I want to be.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to head over to Instagram, you can follow us at The Paranormal Lovers. Send us an email if you have any topic suggestions or if you have any personal stories. Have you seen a Brown Mountain Light? Have you been hiking up here and heard some weird stuff in the mountains? Let us know. If you have any other stories, give us those too, and we will compile them into a listener episode. We'll have to think of a different name because I don't want to steal.
Right.
I don't want to steal that from anybody else. So, but yeah, send us an email at theparanormallovers@yahoo.com. And we appreciate you guys joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed Ian's story, and we will see you guys next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.